let's dive into Gwenpool issue 4. But before we do, here's a quick recap. Gwen Stacy has returned, now going by X31 or Dark Gwenpool, depending on who you ask. Her shocking return stunned characters like Spider-Man, Kate Bishop, and Jeff the Landshark. Gwenpool attempted to shut her down, but ended up getting stabbed in the process. However, nothing keeps Gwenpool down for long. While her body might be 6 feet under, her ghost is now everywhere, and that's a good thing, because things are spiraling out of control. Jeff the Landshark is even starting to go dark. As a ghost, Gwenpool doesn't have much control over the physical world. That's what friends are for. In a horrifyingly visceral move, she possesses Kate Bishop, digging into the deepest parts of her mind and controlling her body to seek revenge. Gwenpool uses Kate's body to confront Dark Gwenpool, but Spider-Man gets confused about which side he is supposed to be on and ends up incapacitating her. Luckily, Gwenpool just body swaps again, this time taking full control of Spider-Man. Now rocking the black suit, she sets her sights on Gwen Stacy, determined to end things for real this time. This issue opens with a flashback from Gwen Stacy. She narrates that remembering your own death is something that seriously messes you up. She felt the pain, and then nothing. She was gone. But being brought back, that might be even worse. She wakes up in a lab, surrounded by 2 panicked scientists who refer to her as Subject X31. She's apparently woke up too soon, and they trigger an alarm. In a rage, she springs from the lab bed, blades protruding from her arms, and kills both scientists before they can escape. Standing over their bodies, she screams, "What have you done to me?" A mysterious figure enters, the so-called Great Architect, who claims to have fulfilled her potential. He declares her as X31 of a brave new age. Gwen is confused. "Am I supposed to thank you for this?" she asks. Cut to the present day. The brave new age looks more like chaos. Rioters flood the streets, holding signs that say, "No more costumed freaks," clashing with police, setting fires, smashing windows, tearing the city apart. From a rooftop, X31 watches the chaos below. A voice in her earpiece calls for her return to the facility. She responds sarcastically, pointing out that the city is literally on fire. The Great Architect replies, chillingly calm, "Oh, I see." Dark Gwenpool looks down at the riot and sees fear. She wants to help, to protect people, but the Architect insists, return to base. She pushes back, wondering what the point of her resurrection is if all she does is kill. "I used to be better than this," she says. The Great Architect, seemingly prepared for her resistance, presses a button, and she immediately seizes up with pain, completely immobilized. It's revealed that she has nanocharges in her blood, but something strange happens. She sees a flash of an unfamiliar face saying, "Charges I control." Confused, she realizes that wasn't the Great Architect. Something else is going on. Still, she reluctantly agrees to return. But before she does, she sees a group of rioters assaulting a civilian. She intervenes, saves the person, who thanks her and calls her a guardian angel. The compliment hits her deeply. She responds, "You're welcome." But right then, she's ambushed by Spider-Man, currently possessed by an enraged Gwenpool. "You're fooling no one, killer." Dark Gwenpool is confused. Why would Spider-Man attack her? Gwenpool taunts her, interrupting her little redemption arc. The Great Architect comes back on the comms, calling her X31 again. Gwenpool mocks this. "X31? Is that what they're calling you? I prefer Fake Pool." As she moves in for a brutal attack, Gwenpool sneers, "Get back in your box, you no good piece of..." Yeah, I can't say the next word. Suddenly, someone else intervenes. Kate Bishop rams a van into Spider-Man at full speed, giving Dark Gwenpool a chance to catch her breath. Dark Gwenpool asks what's going on, and Kate fills her in. Dark Gwenpool isn't the only one who clawed her way out of the grave. As Gwenpool, still possessing Spider-Man, jumps back into the fight, Kate fires an arrow that explodes in slime, pinning Gwenpool to the wall, but the fighting has drawn the attention of the surrounding rioters. They begin to encircle the trio, accusing them of being costumed freaks and blaming them for everything wrong with the world. Kate is pinned down and beaten. Gwenpool, despite everything, realizes she has to act. Inside Spider-Man's mind, Peter Parker is fully conscious, webbed up and trapped in what Gwenpool calls a mind prison. He asks her to remember the people who mourned her. She brushes him off, accusing him of being passive-aggressive. "What else can I do?" Peter replies. "I'm tied up in here." Peter insists that only he can save Kate, as nobody can Spider-Man the way he does. Gwenpool sarcastically lists Miles Morales, Ben Reilly, at least half a dozen Skrulls. That's the final straw. She lets him go. Peter regains control, fires a barrage of web bullets, and takes down the rioters in seconds. Meanwhile, Jeff the Landshark appears, hulking out in full aggressive mode, ready to defend his friends. Ghost Gwenpool gives him a well-earned belly rub. At this point, both Kate and Peter realize they can still see her, possibly a side effect of being possessed. However, Dark Gwenpool has escaped, stealing Kate's van. Gwenpool thinks she knows where she's going and races off to catch her. Sure enough, we find Dark Gwenpool at Gwen Stacy's grave. With confusion and dread on her face, she begins digging. She needs proof that she's the real Gwen Stacy. When she opens the coffin and finds a skeleton, she's at a loss. She senses Gwenpool's presence. This time, Gwenpool possesses her and enters her mind. But instead of a Weapon X style facility, Gwen Stacy and Gwenpool find themselves inside of a comic book store. It's bizarre to both of them. As she browses the shelves, she finds a copy of the West Coast Avengers in the bargain bin and calls that a fireable offense. But this moment triggers something. Gwen Stacy thinks back to the flash of a face she can't quite place. Then it hits her. It's the Jackal. Gwenpool points out that it's odd that Gwen Stacy would even know who the Jackal is, or even that Peter is Spider-Man. Gwenpool pulls out a copy of Dead No More, The Clone Conspiracy issue 5, and hands it to her saying, "Give this a read, you're not gonna like it." It dawns on them. This Gwen Stacy is a clone, and not even the original clone. When Spider-Man saved the day, they assumed the clones all turned to dust, but apparently this one didn't. The scene shifts. We see the Great Architect and the two scientists creating yet another Gwen Stacy clone from DNA. So Gwen Stacy isn't just a clone, she's a clone of another clone. A cheap, lousy trick, Gwenpool scoffs. Nope, not doing the clone card again. That's a hack move. And yes, bait and switch aside, we're still kinda mortal enemies. Gwen Stacy, furious, asks, "Because I killed you?" Gwenpool responds, "I'm gonna put a pin in that for now, because the world went screwy long before you stabbed me." Inconsistent tone, characters flipping for no reason, Peter's spidey sense constantly going nuts. Whatever is happening in the world, and to them, it all comes back to him, the Great Architect. And they realize they'll need to work together to figure it out. But first, Gwenpool adds, "We're going to have to kill everyone." No biggie, right? And that concludes Gwenpool issue 4. And if you're still craving more Spider-Man content, then make sure to check out my Spider-Man playlist, or check out the rest of my channel where I upload content just like this every single week. But for the meantime, peace, peace, peace.